My name's David Lorimer, and I'm here with my very old friend, Dr. Raymond Moody, who is going to be speaking at this year's Beyond the Brain conference. And it so happens that 1975, 2025 makes it the 50th anniversary of the appearance of his trailblazing book, Life After Life, which I read pretty much soon after it came out. So, Raymond, how did you become interested in and how did you come up with the term near-death experience?
Well, first of all, David, thank you so much for this, opportunity to talk with you, and also to the people listening in. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk with you. And the way I came up with this, David, was that I was not from a religious family. My dad was a come like a surgeon in World War II and saw horrible things, I'm sure, but he just wasn't, and he was kind of hostile toward religion. And so I was fascinated by astronomy. So I went to the University of Virginia at age 18, intent on studying astronomy, but immediately got hooked on philosophy. My first day, I said I decided I'd be a philosophy major. Reading Plato's Republic, which culminates in a near death experience. And
Indeed.
since I honestly thought that I didn't understand at that age that some people took the notion of an afterlife seriously. To me, it was only a premise from cartoons and Jack Benny movies. Reading Plato, I was immediately, I asked my professor Hammond, what is this? The story of the man leaving his body and going through a passageway. And Professor Hammond said that these early Greek philosophers knew of cases of people who had been believed dead, but what revived, and that thought they indicated an afterlife, whereas Democritus, who came just a little bit earlier, thought that this was just the invisible residual biological activity of the body, which is the same debate we have today.
Indeed.
So anyway, so I was writing my book in 1974, and I'd done quite a number of lectures. And so I was trying to think of what am I going to call this? And my first thought was perimortal visionary experience. And
Right.
I put that on to my dear friend Dr. Moores, who was one of my professors who was interested in my work. And he said, "No, Ray, that's too medical." And he was right. And so my next thought was, I remembered a story about Thomas Edison, and that when he was dying, there was the radio was right outside of his window following
Yes.
developments. And I remember them saying that when Thomas Edison was near death, and that is a phrase people use. So I that's where I came up with near death experience.
Ah,
That's how it happened. But I've always thought it was kind of awkward, but it caught on.
it
Yeah.
certainly did. It certainly did. And you've been studying this for 50 or 60 years. So you've been through a lot of hoops,
Hmm.
Raymond. What are
Yeah.
the main life lessons that you've learned from your study?
Well, David, I can pretty much bet that you would have pretty much the same response to that question that I do, which is it's so developmental. And where it has most impressed me in the course of my life over the 60 years, I guess, or 62 years I've been investigating this, is that I guess, and I wouldn't be surprised if you'd come up pretty much the same idea, which is I think this is the movies. If you ask what is the essence of a human being, it seems to me that, Plato started, or Pythagoras and then Plato started the notion of the immortal, immaterial soul. And then the philosophers after that have raised objections to that. Hobbes and Locke and Hume,
Yeah.
for example. And where I am on it is that I just think that the essence of consciousness is narrative. That whenever something new happens to you, you automatically fold it into your continuing life story. And so I think that what this thing is we're in is a kind of interactive movie.
Sort of
And I
simulation in some.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and as Plato really had that same idea, the shadows on the wall of the cave, right? And at
Yes.
every stage, there's a new version of it. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for those reflections, Ray, because I think that your approach is really, as you said, not to draw any conclusions, but I do
mm,
think that we have, some interesting indications with the near-death experience, and the two words
I
that
do too.
I always use are the experiences of love and wisdom. And I feel we're here to grow both our love, capacity to love, and our capacity for wisdom.
That's right. That's what I've come to too. Is it? And love is what it's all about. It's very plainly, it's like everybody is chasing something. Is my conclusion
Yes.
I finally reached. And I have spent my life chasing knowledge. I had two doctoral degrees plus 3 years of being a university professor before I was 31. And you and I are old enough now to realize there's something very wrong with that picture, right? I mean, you saw it. I had my whole life was my nose in a book. And so
Yes.
I had to go
Yes.
through a major illness to get out of that. And
Yes.
but everybody's chasing something. Some chase power or fame or money or whatever. But what everybody says after this life review is that whatever they were chasing, that the object of this is to learn about love. I asked Evan Alexander like a couple of years ago. I said, it's when you're doing your mental status examination, the first two terms are the orientation, right? Time and space. What day is it?
Yes.
Where are you? And I asked, and if people with a near death experience say, and that's the experience, there's no time or space. So I said to Eben, like, what are the orienting axes there? And he said, love and knowledge. And that's
Right.
pretty
Well,
much
there we
what I've
go.
gotten from. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ray, thanks very much indeed. And we're very much looking
Thank
forward to
you.
your participation on the Saturday afternoon session. That's the 8th of November
Me
at
too.
Beyond the Brain.
Yes. Me too.